Hey VC, how y'all doing? Hope you guys are all well. I thought I'd just jump on here quickly this afternoon and wanted to do a sort of response video to something that I saw Sherv post, 2-3 nights ago possibly? Maybe it was Friday night actually, my time. And that was his 70's live jazz records video that he posted, which to me was just like, yeah, I mean, it's right in my wheelhouse. I think, in fact, that was maybe exactly what I said to him. I love 70's jazz, and I love live records. I think I said that in one of my previous videos. So, yeah, these aren't necessarily the ones I've picked out. They aren't necessarily the best, although I think they're all great records. So it's not my sort of top 10 or anything like that, but it's just a kind of mix and match of some of my favorites and some others that are maybe unfamiliar to some people. I've done a Baker's Dozen as well, a little like Dave, so I'm not going to speak too much about these records as I normally would. I'm just going to show and talk briefly and keep moving. So yeah, without further ado, let's kick off. The great Gary Bart's I've Known Rivers and Other Bodies. This was recorded in 1973 at the Montreux Festival in France. And actually, I think it was Dave shared the McCoy Tyner Enlightenment as one of his picks. This was recorded the same night at the festival, so I assume these guys were maybe one was supporting the other, they were back to back. I mean, can you even imagine? Like the heat on this, the heat on that McCoy Tyner record is amazing. Stafford James on bass, Hubert Eaves on electric piano and acoustic piano, and then a 17-year-old Howard King on drums, who absolutely kills it. Yeah, No More the Magic Song, beautiful, sort of reflective incantation to open the set. Beautiful version of I've Known Rivers, funky Uhuru Sasa, Dr. Follows Dance. Yeah, this is killer. Gary Bart's. Next, Lee Morgan, Live at the Lighthouse. My favourite Lee Morgan records, no question. Love Sidewinder, love Search for the New Land, but this is the one I pull out and listen to the most often. It's Lee Morgan, Benny Maupin, who else is on this? Jamie Merritt, Mickey Roker, Harold Mayburn. One track on each side. Yeah, Nomo, Jamie Merritt's Nomo is a really, really deep composition, and I'll come back to that in another share in a bit. And Absolutions as well is incredible. I think the last record that was released while Morgan died, and it really points the way ahead to where he could have gone if he hadn't passed away so tragically when he was shot and killed in that club. But yeah, just very, very long, stretching, exploratory improvisation, and yeah, for me, Benny Maupin actually star of the show on this killer record. What have we got? Yeah, Billy Brooks, El Babaku. Folds out this way actually. This was recorded live in Berlin in 1971, live at the Jazz Gallery. This is really a drum record. It's 4 percussionists and a flute player. Yeah, just a very deep, hypnotic record. The drums kind of set you into this almost like trance-like state in the way they sort of interlock and interweave. And the title track on this, El Babaku, I think it's about 8 minutes long, and it's just the sort of call and response chanting between vocals, flute, and drums. Yeah, great album. Yeah, Bob Reed, bass player, The Best of Emergency. This was recorded in Paris in 1974, I think, 1975. This is on his own label, Quela. And a couple of records from this band, The Emergency. This isn't actually a best of, they've just called it The Best of Emergency, which I think is a pretty, it's a bold claim for the band, but it's a great record. Standout for me is the guitar tone from Boulot Ferré, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. They do a cover of 500 Miles High on this, Chick Corea's composition. The guitar tone on that is unbelievable. It'll like scorch you if you get too close. This is on YouTube, look it up. It sounds amazing, and I'm pretty sure the start of the track as well, you can hear the closing of a cash register. There's like this ching in the background just as it kicks off. Yeah, I love that. I love live records that sound live. I don't like stuff that's just produced perfectly. I want to hear a bit of the room. Here's one from Japan. This is the keyboard player Masabumi Kibuchi. It's going to go in all sorts of directions, this one. Yeah, so this is in concert, recorded in Tokyo in 1970, and that's actually what's playing in the background at the moment. Kikuchi, really in this period, early to mid-70s, was exploring a lot of the sounds and textures that you would find on Miles Davis's In a Silent Way, and kind of some of the more reflective moments of Bitches Brew. So it's two keyboard players, soprano and tenor sax player, bass, and two drummers. So yeah, very dense, rhythmically and harmonically complex, and I don't know if you can hear it behind me, but there's this sort of churning, bubbling quality to it that runs throughout. Again, two tracks, one on each side. Dancing Mist, which is what we're hearing now, and Yellow Carcass in the blue. And yeah, great Kikuchi. He's got a beautiful touch on the keys. Another one recorded in Japan. This, Miles Davis, Agartha, top 5 album of all time for me. Maybe even top album of all time for me. This one, when I first heard it as a teenager, absolutely blew my brains out. I'd never heard anything like this before. For me, one of Miles's greatest bands, 1973 to 1975. This was recorded in the morning, and then Pangea, which is a double album, was recorded in the evening. And yeah, I don't even know where to start with describing this. I might even have to do a solo video just on this album. To me, it's like, it's funk, it's jazz, it's deep African sounds, it's abstract electronics, there's so much in it, and the musicianship is incredible. Yeah, I'm gonna do a standalone video on this record. I think I need to talk about this properly. Cool. Noah Howard's Berlin concert. This was recorded in 1975, live in Germany. And this is Noah Howard's, this is a quintet with piano, bass, drums, and then auxiliary percussion. There are a bunch of records that he recorded for this label, FMP, German label, and they're all pretty hard to get hold of now, but he's got just amazing kind of white hot tone to him, and the version of Coltrane's Olé on this record is definitely worth hearing. Yeah, killer album. Okay, here's one I don't see discussed very much actually anywhere. This is Keith Jarrett, 40 Hour. Jarrett, I think, has suffered in recent years from his sort of slightly, this is maybe a little harsh, but slightly formulaic standards trio records, and just a plethora of solo piano records, which are great, but I feel like once you've heard a few of them, you've heard them all. Just maybe doing a bit of a disservice, but there we go. This, however, is his great American quartet from the early to mid-70s, which for me was his best band of all time. They could play anything. Dewey Redman, Charlie Hayden, Keith Jarrett, Paul Motian. Incredible band. Again, one track on each side, sort of merging of Pan-African sounds, a lot of auxiliary percussion with these really sort of naughty Ornette Coleman style compositions. Jarrett plays soprano saxophone as well as piano, often delves onto the piano, like messing around with the strings on it to get some really abstract sound as well. These guys, I think, this group is massively underrated. Yeah, they could play anything. But yeah, this was recorded live at the Village Vanguard in 1973, 40 Hour on Impulse. Yeah, I don't even know how to begin to describe this one either, to be honest. The Ntume Umoja Ensemble, yeah, this El Cableland, Land of the Blacks, is a phenomenal piece of black liberation music, political, deeply political, consciousness, sound, politics. I mean, there are all sorts of words I can associate with it. This was recorded live at the East in Brooklyn. It was a blacks-only club, and it was a place that was encouraged to share ideas, music, be independent, creative, and yeah, double LP. The roster of musicians on this is just unbelievable. Yeah, Mtume, Carlos Garnett, Gary Barrett, Stanley Cowell, Buster Williams, Andy Bay, Billy Hart, Jolie Wilson, Leroy Jenkins. Like, it's phenomenal. Everyone needs to hear it. It's all on YouTube. It's a tough record to find, obviously, but it's soul-stirring and incredibly powerful. Yeah, wow. Sherv mentioned Charles Tolliver. I love Charles Tolliver. I said that, I think, in a comment to him. He's got this amazing, bright, sort of ebullient tone and sound that I just love. Normally featured in a piano bass drums combo, no tenor sax, and just these really expansive compositions. He played flugelhorn a lot as well, so there's quite a warmth to his tone. And this was recorded for Strata East Live in Tokyo, 1974. And yeah, for me, if there is one piece to check out from this, it's the version of Stanley Cowell's Effie, which also appeared on Max Roach's Members Don't Get Weary. I think that was the first time that was recorded. But yeah, amazing version of Effie, which is a beautiful waltz. And it also features an amazing bass solo from Clint Houston on it, who goes into this sort of like double, triplet time thing, which is just like, yeah, phenomenal musicianship on that. Yeah, this is another top 10 all-timer, I think. The Great Horace Tapscott, live at the IUCC on Nimbus West. This was recorded in 1979. Is it 1979? Yeah, 1979. And this was recorded at the Emmanuel United Church of Christ in Los Angeles. And yeah, I mean, again, I think I should need to do a whole video on Tapscott. Magnificent piano player, incredible community figure for the city of Los Angeles. His autobiography is well worth tracking down as well. It's I've got it on the shelf. Yeah, actually over there, Song of the Unsung, which you can find pretty easily. But yeah, this features a huge band, his Pan-African People's Orchestra, which has probably the best part of 12 or 13 musicians on it. You know, flute, plenty of percussion, tuba, baritone sax, and yeah, just a real collective approach to a band and to his compositional style as well. And he was the kind of person who would try and bring in people from all around the local community into the band or into the performances, and try and, you know, get children involved, families, all sorts. Yeah, amazing figure. But yeah, this is a great record. This is an original Nimbus West, but that's been reissued quite recently as well, so you can get hold of this pretty easily. This is another one recorded live in Japan. This is Max Roach and his mid-70s quartet. This record's called Nomo, and it's one track over two sides. Sherv mentioned, I think, something about 70s records, live records particularly, having quality of I think space or length. And yeah, I find that on a lot of 70s jazz records that I love, is just the ability for musicians to really stretch out and explore all the inner and outer reaches of a composition. This group, I think this is Max Roach's best band, full stop. Max Roach, Reggie Workman on bass, Cecil Bridgewater on trumpet, and the amazing Billy Harper on tenor sax. And they do, as I say, one piece, which is Jamie Merritt's Nomo, across two sides. Each musician gets probably about 10 to 15 minutes to really explore the theme, and yeah, the muscularity of this. I mean, if you think you know Max Roach as a drummer, you need to hear this group if you haven't heard it, because it's going to completely reshape the way that you think of him. This is a progressive, punchy, still very intelligent, but it's in-your-face music, and yeah, I love it. This is a phenomenal album. Nomo, Max Roach. And last one, I think was that 13? It's maybe 14. Anyway, this is the band Sphere. This was a group that recorded for the Strata label out of Detroit, and this was recorded at the Detroit Arts Center, Institute of the Arts, in June 1970. Yeah, Larry Zero on tenor. I don't know any of the other musicians on this at all. So this was a band, they only put out this one record, and to me it's in the same sort of vein as that sort of late 60s Miles sound, Phyllis the Kilimanjaro, Miles in the Sky. It's got that sort of dark, seeking, searching sound to it. I mean, the sound quality on this is pretty muddy. Again, you get the sense of the audience in the room, really in the moment. But yeah, it's in that kind of late Miles vein, or also those Kenny Cox records on Blue Note and the one he has on Strata as well, where yeah, it's that searching, seeking electroacoustic quality that I really, really dig. Yeah, it's a great record as well. This is an original on Strata Records. Yeah, so that'll do it, I think. Kind of whistle-stop tour through some live 70s jazz records, which, yeah, I hope there's some new stuff in there for you, or maybe some things that you have that you've not listened to in a while. Yeah, so thank you. Thanks for watching if you made it this far, and I'll catch you soon with a general kind of what I've been listening to video as well. So until then, take care. Cheers.